Well, it's always the sort of race that you're always looking at the ones, as you say, sort of 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, to see what they felt about those runs and where they might be going forward. So I think we're going to catch up with a few of the leading sort of trainers and around the losers yesterday in the Tarzino.
I think he just got beaten by a couple of faster, sharper horses over 400 metres, but had a good puff and he was there on the line. He hit a bit of a flat spot halfway down, but he was fine the line again, and after the post he was off and gone again.
Yeah, very happy. Obviously we thought he would run well, so to only be beaten a length or so from some of those sprinters, wrapped with him first up.
When will we see him again?
I'd say at this stage he'll be on a plane to Melbourne sometime next week, either Wednesday or Sunday, and hopefully next start will be Makybe Diva Stakes.
Okay, Francoletta, what do you think?
A little bit disappointing. She was there, she had the gun run, just sort of didn't really flatten out or sprint like we thought or hoped she would. So back to the drawing board, but more than likely she'll stay home for now and just pick off some black type mares race.
Savvy Cope, what do you make of her effort?
Yeah, I was highly delighted. You know, long way to come. Hadn't had a trial. She's had two 2,400 metre runs the last two starts and taken on the best sprinters in New Zealand. I thought it was a very good effort to run 5th.
What does she do in the next 3 weeks?
I'm driving the truck home tomorrow, back in her own paddock on Monday afternoon, and then we'll come up for the mile and stay up for the 2,000. The 2,000 metres is her race, I reckon.
Okay, Son of Maher, perhaps a little bit disappointing. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, I actually rang the manager this morning with a view to scratching him because he's just a duffer on wet ground and he's just useless. But he'll go home. He's got plenty of opportunities. Might come up here for the Group 3 race the last day, but I mean, the Copeland's Mile is the obvious race for him.
Jono, first of all, Scott Base, what do you make of that?
Sensational, really happy. We always knew coming here today, probably with both horses, that we were going to be fine in the line. If we could do that, we'd be wrapped. Yeah, look, I haven't seen the sectionals and whatnot, but look, I'm very happy. 21 days, bring it on.
Okay, yeah, Windspell obviously close up and also really grinding all the way to the line.
Yeah, look, I can't wait to the last day with him. I think the next day will be similar. But look, he got caught up in a bit of traffic just at the wrong time, but he was good to the line as well, so happy with both horses.
When will we see them again?
They both come here 3 weeks.
Oh, no, he had every show to run into it. I think Turapa stuffed him and he's out for a spell.
Right, so let's dissect the race in terms of the Windsor Park Plate. Melody Bell, a question mark to go to the race, given the query around the mile.
And if she goes, she has to be favourite.
Absolutely. She's going to, if she draws well, you can get away with a good 1,600 metres around Hastings with that short run to the first turn. It's not a hard mile. Of the other runners in the race, High Flyers finished off well, but let's look back at some of the other runners I want to discuss. As I mentioned earlier, that 3-wide train was a bit of a disaster. Nothing went anywhere off that wide run. I thought 7th up of those wide runners is one of the better runs, and if we look at him in the closing stages, he gets home really well. Scott Base, is he the one we're looking most at for the Windsor Park Plate? His run's terrific.
Yeah, I thought the two big ticks for the 1,600 were High Flyer. He's racing a little bit down, but he can probably have an easier first 600 over the mile, as they call it, and Scott Base, obviously. I thought Scott Base was the run of the race outside of the winner, so they are the two for the 1,600.
Savvy Cope's great. She's worked home nicely through the pack. She actually dived through like she was going to be right in it. Just might have peaked on it, but she was coming into the race with no barrier trial.
Yeah, and I thought there were three who labelled themselves for the 2,000 on the last start, the 2,040, the Livermore. Our Aberdeen was overlooked. Very, very good. Obviously, Savvy Cope and Windspell. So they're horses we know will run 2,000 metres at the top level, and they're all very good. Whether they're going to be sharp enough for 1,600, that's maybe a question.
So there's nothing happening out wide at this point. The leaders are off and gone, and then just watch Scott Bate with the white sleeves out there. He's really putting in some nice work. Savvy Cope's dived up and behind them. Really good run, just bottoms out the last 50. So those are a couple that I'll be looking for. Savvy Cope, in terms of that last day, is looking very promising. Yeah.